Yes, welcome back to the second stanza of the program. Your program, The Conversation, coming to you live from TV 360. My name is Nelson Ekujumi. I'm a public affairs analyst. I also have still with me in the studio, is my friend, my brother, a co-conversant, Peter Okpara, a public affairs analyst. Peter, thank you for staying with us on the program.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, we are going to take a countdown to the Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo State elections. On November 11, 2023, less than 2 weeks from now, or about 2 weeks from now, the people of these three states, Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo, will go to the polls to elect a governor for the state for the next 4 years. As we speak, the campaigns by the parties, the 18 registered political parties, are throwing up gubernatorial candidates. INEC has, upped this game. INEC has even conducted, mock accreditation in all the three states. In the three states, we have the front runners. That's the parties in power in those three states. In Kogi, we have the APC, who has Ododo. In Bayelsa State, the APC doesn't have a candidate because the candidate of the party has been disqualified by the courts. In Imo State, we have the incumbent governor, Opuzodima. So we want to look at this, the preparations for the election. Just last week, the chairman of INEC, the national chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, promised that the results of the elections will be transmitted to the IREV. And we want to use this medium to educate our people that the transmission of results to the IREV does not amount to collation. The Presidential Election Petition Court has affirmed that. The Supreme Court has also stated that. What is the situation on ground is that if you go to the polling station on election day, you cast your vote, you monitor the process, ensure that the results according to law is announced at the polling station, and it is pasted on the wall. We don't want a situation whereby our people will be misled or our people will be incited by persons who have other agenda, who will now tell you, oh, results were not uploaded. It's like a football match in which the football match is going on and the scoreboard, because the result is not being posted on the scoreboard. At the end of the match, when you yourself, you can see that team A scored 3 goals and team B scored 1. Somebody will now tell you that, oh, because the result was not uploaded, the match didn't take place, that the referee was biased. That is exactly what the IREV is, if you ask, because it's just a viewing center. What you should be concerned as a voter, for me, is what happens at your polling station. Is the process being complied with? In my polling station in the 2023 general elections, when we got there, the INEC officer came. He showed us the beavers machine. And, I've seen a lot of condemnation, a lot of blackmail, a lot of campaign of calumny against INEC. And like you rightly said, the 2023 election is one of our best, if not the best elections we have had in this country. Because INEC has upped this game. With the beavers machine, once the machine cannot capture you, either facially or through your thumb, then you cannot vote. And when the INEC personnel gets to the polling station on election day, they will show you the beavers machine. And like we discussed sometime last week, a candidate of a party said, oh, INEC has configured the beavers machine to rig the election. And I'm like, the beavers machine is not a voting machine. It's just to authenticate the identity of a voter. So I think what we are doing here today is to educate our people that election must not be made a religious war like our politicians want it to be, or like one of our fathers, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who declared election as a do-or-die affair.
Your father.
Yes, election must not be a do-or-die affair. Election should be a contest to better the life of the people. Election should not be an avenue to go and kill and maim one another, because elections will come and go, but the people will remain.
Let me come in. The first issue, the first statement you made, that in Bayelsa that APC doesn't have a candidate, I think that statement may not be correct eventually when the election holds, because I understand that the Court of Appeal has reserved judgment in the Bayelsa issue.
Yes,
and
okay.
When we try to look at it very factually, The issue was that if the Timipre Silva wins the election, that he would have spent
Wins the appeal.
wins the election. That's what was at the lower court. That would have spent more than 2 terms.
Yeah.
But what really happened was that Timipre Silva stood for election in 2007. He won. And in about 8 months later, that election was voided.
Yeah.
He now stood for another election and won. That was in 2008. Yeah. And you are now saying that they voided this thing should count.
For 8 months,
so I see it, what I want to point out, I see it at the end of the day that Timipre Silva will be on the ballot. But what I doubt is that there have been, maybe his campaign efforts have largely been slowed down.
Undermined by that
ruling. Having said that, the elections that are going to hold is like any other election. These are off-season elections anyway, because they arose out of court adjudication, previous court adjudication on governorship contests in those states.
Yes.
Elections, you have well explained it, is not a do or die affair. Somebody wins, somebody loses. But we have a situation in Nigeria where before you go into election, you say, I must win. If I don't win, that election is not free and fair. If I win, it's the best election. It is like what happens in the courts too. When you go to court and the court rules in your favor, that's the best.
The judges are good.
The judges are. When they rule out, that's what Atiku is doing today. But let me point it there now. There have been marked improvement, very serious improvement. And when Obasanjo was the president, when the election was free and fair, you would be hearing about 3 million voters voting in Rivers State. You don't know where those votes are. Because elections results have been prepared weeks before the actual date of the voting. Now, I'm coming. But those days, up to of recent, we used to have cases of ballot snatching being very rampant. What happens is that parties prepare. On election day, they arm their thugs to snatch ballots, to print and stuff. Those things don't happen again. Because the system has checkmated all those things.
Peter, the record of former President Olusegun Obasanjo assault on democracy in Nigeria is legendary.
I know.
We cannot finish discussing it.
I know. And
is it by removing a governor with 6 legislators
agreed.
out of 30?
And let us not even forget the fact that the last election he conducted in office, the one that was disowned by even the eventual
winner,
was the election that come nearest to being upturned by the courts in Nigeria.
Yes.
We have 4 judges who in favor and 3
yes.
Not today where you have unanimous
yes.
listen,
yes.
So what we are trying to say is that let us imbibe the listen that it's either you win or you lose. You cannot win and lose. And you must not win. That is the spirit that
it is not a must.
Once you don't win, everything is bad, and you keep on repeating it, thinking that at the end of the day, we have a life of its own. That is what we are having in the presidential election.
Let me give you this information. I was an observer at a gubernatorial election in one of the states some years back. Okay. And when the election was being conducted in the morning, the then governor went on air and said, oh, INEC has compromised. They have hijacked this thing. They are writing results. And lo and behold, when the election ended,
it favored him.
He was declared the winner.
I know.
The same mouth he used to say.
That was in Edo.
Governor Baseki.
We all knew about it.
He now said, oh, INEC did the best election he has ever seen.
Those antics don't help. Election is about accountability. And when we are even talking about accountability, maybe courtesy of the judge, you won't go on that day, you try to manipulate uploaded result on IRF and thinking that what we win at any appeal is the hard copy of the election result. Obtained from word to word. Yes. That is very, very clear. So don't think that because the idea about all this hoopla about IRF uploading is about let us manipulate it. Because there is that intent to manipulate election results. When you now manipulate it and it appears on IRF that you have won through manipulation, you now start jubilating.
No, I don't think they will be able to hack IRF.
That will not have value at the end of the day because a party now knows that what it needs is the hard copy of election results signed off from EC 8A by every party. And at the tribunal, you prove your result and not about what is uploaded on IRF, which the judiciary had told us is an INEC view, so the result view
It's
portal.
a viewing.
It's not a result collection
It's
portal.
not.
That
It's
is the
not.
fact that had to, because as I said in the last presidential election, it was the moment Dino Melaye started as an agent of PDP.
Yes.
And started talking about this is all we are not uploaded. This is all we are not uploaded. That was where we now said, this is the worst election, this and that.
You know, the judgments of the courts of recent is very, very instructive for a discerning and honest mind.
Of course.
You recollect the case of Oyetola versus Adeleke
of course.
Where the APC went
and that was one of the grounds the Supreme Court cited in the last judgment Atiku is disparaging.
Yes.
Atiku rejoiced when the judgment
gave
Adeleke
of the PDP. Because the court said
disparaging the same Supreme Court judges.
The printout of IREV is not a confirmation of the result. The result we rely on. And also, I think we should educate our viewers.
Oh, sure.
You recollect the case of opposite Uzodinma in Imo State.
And
when Ihedioha because the gov was declared the gov, Hope said, I won this election.
Of course.
And Hope went to the court with result sheets.
Let me take it off from there in that particular case. At the High Court.
Yes.
That's at the state tribunal. The case was unanimously dismissed in favor of don't forget that it wasn't only Uzodinma that was challenging. Uche Nwosu was even the main candidate. That's the main, because he came second in that election.
Yes.
But what PDP did in Imo State was to do everything to knock off Uche Nwosu, not knowing that Uzodinma was prosecuting his case. He wasn't challenged at the appeal court. Uzodinma got a minority judgment in his favor. There was even no notice because many people, they didn't pay more attention to that. At the Supreme Court, that minority judgment was the decisive judgment that at the Supreme Court. Because Uzodinma had his results for the number of polling units that were not declared.
Yes.
INEC didn't have anything. PDP didn't have anything against it. And that was how Uzodinma became governor.
No, the court even, when Uzodinma brought his own copy of the Form E-C-8A, the court now told the INEC to provide
They didn't
INEC was dilly-dallying.
The
court now called on the Nigerian police. Let us have a copy of the result. When the police now tendered their result, they saw that it tallied with what. That was how the court declared.
And mind you, INEC nailed itself in that election. Because one is that Emeka Ihedioha was declared governor without fulfilling the constitutional requirement of spread. Secondly, they now say that 184 thereabout polling units did not have results. And this was enough to even affect the outcome of the results. And then Hope Uzodinma had results for those and there was no contrary result. Atiku came to tribunal, Peter Obi came to tribunal without any contrary result. Yet they claimed they won election. It's embarrassing at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you for your take on the program today. Well, dear viewers, we want to thank you for staying to the conversation on TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. Till we come your way again next time, please continue to watch the conversation coming to you live from TV 360 here in Lagos. Thank you and God bless. Bye-bye.